Now, the internet, let's go back. The internet is not something that you just dump something on. It's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes.
In 2022, nearly half of Americans expected a civil war in the next few years. 1 in 5 now believes political violence is justified. And it's not just the US, but around the world. People increasingly see themselves as part of opposing teams. There are many different reasons for this, but one gets blamed a lot: social media. Social media divides us, makes us more extreme and less empathetic. It riles us up or sucks us into doom scrolling, making us stressed and depressed. It feels like we need to touch grass and escape to the real world. New research shows that we might have largely misinterpreted why this is the case. It turns out that the social media internet may uniquely undermine the way our brains work, but not in the way you think.
Perhaps the most unholy byproduct of Twitter is cancel culture, which usually stems from someone doing or saying something slightly out of line with the status quo, be it an old tweet or an out-of-context clip, followed by a series of tweets calling them out, which almost always lack in nuance or context. Some of these tweets then get retweeted en masse, forming a virtual hate mob hell-bent on enacting a very warped view of justice.
Chicken Little is a 2005 Disney movie that is nowadays pretty universally despised. I'm here to make the argument that this movie is a perfect representation of the internet culture we have today. You might be thinking, why is this guy equating a children's film to societal problems of today's internet? That sounds silly. But if you stick with me, I will try validating my viewpoint as much as possible. Timestamps and other resources will be added in the description for if you need anything. To make a long story short, Chicken Little is treated like a World War II war criminal by the whole town in this movie. What kind of unspeakable act did this kid do to deserve this, you might wonder? Mass rape? Genocide? Destruction of entire civilizations? No, it was something way more vile and despicable than all of that combined. He said that the sky was falling. Yeah, I'm just as confused as you are. Once we get to the town school, we see that there is a game where the popular kids beat up all of the unpopular kids. The movie then plays a pop song over what is basically child abuse. No, I'm not joking. So what does this have to do with internet culture? Well, first off, the popular on the internet have inherent advantages over the unpopular. They have more reach, their opinions and views are spread around more, they have a much larger following, a much larger amount of loyal followers, and they can use them to ruin the lives of the unpopular. A huge accusation comes out against a big name, they're just overreacting, don't worry about it. That same accusation is made against a small creator, sweat them immediately. For an example, let's take a look at the ClankyBot 777 allegations. Back when they came out, everyone unanimously believed in them. Seems like she's a groomer, right? Well, let's take a look at the full story.
As I've said many times and will have to say again, I have a lot of sexual trauma and that's where almost all of that came from. I didn't get mad, I was jokingly being extra. I do that a lot. They were also a very shady person and they like to brag about how they ruined some of their ex's lives. This relationship lasted about 2 weeks. One day I realized that there was a very important question that I forgot to ask Dev. I asked them immediately as I realized. I asked them, Dev, what grade are you going into? Into 8th. I was going into 10th grade. I broke up with them immediately because no fucking way am I doing that shit. That's nasty. They tried to convince me that it wasn't a bad age gap. It was 2.5 years, but they were still way too young for me. But I do also want to make it clear that this does not make me a groomer. I'm not a groomer in the same way that people who accidentally leave the stove on are not arsonists. One day I started to get a lot of angry comments. Turns out Dev was trying to expose me and they said a lot of lies. They said that I was an adult at the time, which was not true. I was a minor. I met them a few days after I turned 16, like I said. I decided to message Dev to slow things down, and they did not want to hear me out at all. You hurt me, and this is just karma. It didn't hit you hard enough, so I'm doing it for her. Fuck you and everything you have worked for. You deserve this. I know you didn't groom me. I know you didn't groom me. Comments saying, I know what you did, you're a groomer, I want to watch you shoot yourself on stream. I hope you get so you know what it feels like. People comparing me to Epstein. Tried to unalive myself, I chickened out, and then a few days later, Dev sends me this message. Jess, do you think we could start over? I don't want to fight anymore. I want to continue my life like it didn't happen. I'm making an object show, and I would love if you helped me or made characters. We can be friends. I know you never intended on grooming me. Even though I still believe you knew my age, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's be friends unless you just want to stay away from each other. I can't fight anymore. I'm giving up. You're fine. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't know my age and you didn't want anything from me. You thought it was a normal relationship. I told them I really did try to treat you as well as I could until the very end. And they said, I know. Thank you for that. That's why it hurt a lot more than the other times. 'Cause you treated me well. Thank you. Maybe I'd feel like I got some justice, but the more I posted about it, the angrier I got. And the more I felt like I didn't want you to have anything. And that anger is the reason we are where we are now. And I feel like shit because I ruined your life out of pure hatred. Maybe not even me being mad at you, but even myself. I took all of my hatred out on you. They admit to the fact that they lied and that they just wanted to ruin my life, but they still refuse to come out publicly. Please do not send hate to Dev because I know that they're trying to move on from this. I believe in forgiveness, and I desperately don't want them to have to deal with this situation anymore ever.
So with all of this extra context and perspective, you can now see how much the story has changed. But since this person was unpopular, it was easy to gang up on them since they didn't have anybody to stick up for them. For another example, let's take a look at somebody who had a good life before an accusation against them ruined that.
Back in August of 2022, I was removed from the Inanimate Insanity team. This was publicly announced through Animation Epic on Twitter. While the reasoning for my removal was never directly stated, I was listed as removed underneath a tweet responding to the controversial racist actions of former II crew member Lauren. Another II animator, Brian, also known as Bribey, regarded the situation vaguely on Twitter, later with Gino and Gio, both affirming everything on Twitter that Lauren committed racist actions by confusing the two of them. After an uproar from the OSC, Lauren takes to Twitter and apologizes for everything that happened, stating that he made a mistake and mixed up or misheard the names Gio and Gino, which caused the confusion. Gino then shifts gears to reprimand me for defending Lauren's racist actions and for attempting to silence Gio in DMs to protect the Inanimate Insanity brand. I posted on Twitter clarifying that I did not defend Lauren's racist actions, but that I supported his apology. Furthermore, I stated I apologized to Gio in private for the misunderstanding and not providing support to him better. Later, Animation Epic on Twitter posts a statement that those at the center of the problem have been removed from the show. Hours later, a tweet then clarifies that Lauren, AIM, and myself have been removed. Many rumor that Lauren had either said something racist or said a racist joke at the meetup. Those rumors are false, as neither of these things happened. The statements from both Gio and Gino, as well as Brian, never stated this happened. In order to try and clarify that I was not supporting Lauren's actions, I posted later on Twitter where I stated that my reasoning for retweeting his apology and liking responses was to show support for his apology only. Before I go on, I want to share that I was given permission from Gio to share these DMs between him and myself through Discord in order to clear up all the misinformation. Above is the first message I sent to Gio after I learned about the situation through Twitter. I reached out to express that I was sorry to hear what had happened at the meetup, and that through meeting thousands of people, we never had the chance to formally meet one another. After Gino falsely accuses me of attempting to silence Gio, I reached out to Gio because there was clearly a huge misunderstanding from my initial message. Gio sent me this, in which he states, I did not directly say any of Gene's words at all, and that he had mentioned in a private conversation that he felt worried but explicitly said he didn't want anyone else knowing because it was meant to be private. I wrote back to Gio, making sure to clarify that I was not upset with him in the slightest, but I apologized as I recognized that I didn't provide enough support to him, explaining that as Lauren was my friend, the situation was difficult because he was being publicly ridiculed, which in turn was making him suicidal. I also said that I messaged Gene in hopes that he would understand that what he said was not an accurate reflection of me. Gio responded and said he didn't think that stuff about me anyways, and that he was happy I apologized and said that we were cool. I had told Gene that what he said about me was not an accurate description of what I had said to Gio, All of this was based on a random assumption on the information that was privately mentioned to him. To recap, Gio had confirmed in DMs with me that Gino was not allowed to make this statement in the first place, and that the things he said were false because he didn't think that about me in the first place. So in actuality, Gino was just baselessly making these statements against me. And honestly, it's my fault for not defending myself against these accusations in the first place because they are undeniably false. Instead of defending myself, I wanted to apologize because clearly my communication was not done well enough, and even my apology wasn't well communicated because that made even more people confused. That's why I'm making this video, to clear up absolutely everything I can. In the heat of the moment that day, I was panicking intensely because so many fans of II were believing false accusations about me. When I was having an anxiety attack, I felt like I was spiraling, and everything around me was collapsing, and I felt I needed to act quickly. I was then given a copy of the message to be shared on Animation Epic's Twitter. I read through this planned statement and personally agreed with it, and I had intended to retweet it on my account as well. However, before I could do this, hours later, in a public tweet underneath this message, my name was listed. This is how I found out I was fired. Some of you might think that me being fired was not such a big deal, but I need to stress this. Inanimate Insanity was not just a job for me. It was so much more. Losing Inanimate Insanity meant losing my friends of over 16 years. It meant losing my passion, losing my reputation, and losing one of the few creative things that made me happy as I grew up. Everything was completely ripped away from me, all because I wanted to be supportive for a hurting friend. I would never ever wish the immense amount of mental and emotional anguish that I've experienced through this on any person ever. I find it hard to hold grudges on people, and I don't like to hold people to actions that were made when stress levels were high. And I would be willing to forgive my friends and make amends, and I'm hoping they would do the same for me. Because I believe life is too short to hate, and I don't want to look back and wish I had hated and grudged more. If I can be granted forgiveness, then I can grant that forgiveness right back.
Okay, so now you can see the hell that the unpopular is put through when accusations are made against them. But how does the popular abuse their power against the unpopular, you might ask? Well, look no further than a certain someone named Leafy is here.
Leafy was seemingly oblivious to this, but whenever he would feature a person in one of his rants, his fanbase would often stalk and harass that individual. Leafy attacked a small occult YouTuber by the name of Mr. Black Darkness 666. Pretty much everyone sided with Leafy on this issue, mostly because Mr. Darkness was such a melodramatic weirdo. However, the important outcome of this altercation was that Leafy denied responsibility for the actions of his fans. That would all change after one video where Leafy and his fans took things too far. Leafy would upload a video making fun of a YouTuber by the name of TommyNC2010. Later that day, Tommy posted an emotionally distressed response, claiming that Leafy's fans had harassed him and given him death threats. H3H3 Productions made a video calling out Leafy and the rest of the commentary community, accusing them of enabling a culture of bullying. Regardless of Ethan's true intentions, the damage was already done to Leafy's credibility. The H3H3 rant was the first shot across the bow in the internet's gradual turn against Leafy. For the first time in a YouTube confrontation, Leafy was not the apex predator. That distinction now belonged to iDubbbz, a title that he would ferociously retain in the next edition of Content Cop. The simple purpose of this Content Cop was to beat Leafy at his own game. This wasn't a shocking exposé on Leafy's character. Everybody already knew why Leafy was problematic. Leafy was shoved off his high perch and cast into the depths of mass ridicule and personal insults. The very same hell he had subjected to his dozens of victims.
However, this is only the beginning of how much current internet culture eerily represents the society that is in the movie Chicken Little. The rabbit hole goes down much, much deeper than this. So after the Acorn incident, the whole town pretty much preys on Chicken Little like a hungry pack of lions. He is then ostracized by the entire town and becomes an outcast in society and has basically no actual friends. The town pretty much turned into a lynch mob against him. Even a year later, he is still being abused by the entire town. So what does this have to do with mob mentality on the internet? Well, this type of mentality has led to real-life harassment against people on the internet. For an example, Let's take a look at the r/Find Boston Bombers incident.
Find Boston Bombers. This subreddit is probably the quickest way to establish that online vigilantism isn't exactly the best thing, and especially when there's not really good evidence that's put out there, it can lead to some bad outcomes. In 2013, the Boston Marathon was bombed by two brothers, utilizing two homemade pressure cooker bombs that would explode near the finish line of the marathon, roughly 14 seconds apart from each other. This would take the lives of 3 people and injuring hundreds of others. In pursuit of trying to identify who would do such a horrific thing, many websites were actively going to jump onto the scene and try to take matters into their own hands. This led to the creation of r/Find Boston Bombers. Now, after hundreds upon hundreds of Reddit posts, eventually they were able to track down someone. Unfortunately, though, they got the wrong people. And yes, people, plural. They got multiple people wrong. The thing that's even more sad is that they didn't realize they initially misidentified the wrong people on who did this attack. So they're all in the threads like high-fiving each other like, yeah, we got him. We did it, Reddit. If you didn't realize, that's where that comes from. We did it, Reddit. Like that's what that means. It's basically making fun of the fact that they misidentified the Boston Bombers. Once Reddit began to realize that they got the wrong people, it all just started going downhill from there. One group of people that was misidentified was a 17-year-old boy and his track coach, the other being a Brown University student named Sunil Tripathi, who had gone missing a few months prior. Sunil would actually be found a few months after the attack had taken place. Tragically, though, he wouldn't be found alive, as it was made very clear the student had taken their own life. I do hope that Sunil rests in peace and that his family has some sort of closure from all of this, because I couldn't imagine having your son, who's already been missing for a while, get thrown into the light, and then just suddenly, like, now everyone wants to know everything about you and your family and your close relatives, all for it to eventually be figured out that your son wasn't even alive. That sounds awful. And I really do feel for the family in that situation. All these vigilante groups that were going out trying to find information about the Boston Bombers and who they might be eventually led to the FBI coming out saying, hey, y'all are like spreading so much misinformation right now that it's actually really hard for us to do like detective work. So you should maybe cite your sources or make sure it's gone through like official channels. Like here's the quote. Contrary to widespread reporting, no arrest has been made in connection with the Boston Marathon attack. Over the past day and a half, there has been a number of press reports based on information from unofficial sources that has been inaccurate. Since these stories often have an unintended consequence, we ask the media, particularly at this early stage of the investigation, to exercise caution and attempt to verify information through appropriate official channels before reporting. I find it sad but hilarious that the FBI has to come out and basically say like, hey, yo, guys, like, you are spreading so much information right now that it's literally fucking up our investigation. Can you stop? Can you please stop? I also do find it really odd that the FBI is basically saying like, hey, make sure you get your information through appropriate channels, but the FBI is also more than willing to ruin the credibility and established reputation of the Associated Press. This is basically a side tangent. You can do some heavy research into this if you'd like, but basically in 2007, the FBI posed as an AMP journalist and infected some 15-year-old suspects' computers with like surveillance software. The FBI director at the time even said like, yeah, this was fine. Granted, it was a little weird, or like something to that effect, but basically he approved of it. But luckily a judge like ruled in favor of the Associated Press, and that like that was not within the right of the FBI to do, and that was really uncool. Anyway, though, that's like hardcore side tangent stuff, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so this one is from quite a while back. But for a more recent example, let's take a look at the City by Karen Nurse situation and how a certain infamous political neckbeard covered it and called for her to be fired.
Is this an opportunity for me to demonstrate how not racist I am? This lady tried her best to weaponize her tears, but she realized it wasn't going to work. She switched it off and acted like nothing happened. This should be criminal. What's happening?
Help me! Please help me! It's not your bike. Please help me! It's not your bike. It's not your bike. Please help me! Help! Please get off me!
Hey, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Please get off.
Yo, don't take it, bro. Now you're not getting the bike, bro.
Of course she would be a nurse. Dude, nurses are fucking psychotic. I swear to God, nurses are like female cops. That's like the female version of being a cop, where you're a horrible, abusive piece of shit, and you get out of school and you want to like have control over people's lives. I have no idea what's happening. The black guys like rented these little like city bike things, and then she's just trying to take it, and she's like faking a problem. Bosh, no, my mom is a nurse. Okay, your mom specifically is fine. Depends on the nurse. Yes, obviously it depends on the nurse.
Why you took his phone? What's wrong with you? Don't touch his phone. Do not touch his phone. I'm not touching you. You putting your stomach on my head.
You're hurting my fetus, my unborn child.
My dude, stop. No. My dude, stop. No. I said no. I said sit down.
Please help me!
She's just crying. You're not crying. I got you on video. Wait, you pulled it out? Hey, Hassan, you pulled it out? Hassan, you pulled it out?
This is my bike. It's on my account. Please move.
All right, so why don't we reset the bike?
I'm not resetting the bike.
It's his.
Reset it. I'm gonna pull it out on your account.
You are active.
I don't give a fuck.
This is my bike crying. She's fake crying. Stop fake crying.
Hey, stop touching me. I want to touch you.
Hold up.
Hey, stop touching me. Stop touching me.
Why don't you take this bike?
Stop touching me.
Context for real. The black guy, they rented the bike, and then the white lady came over and just wanted to take it, and then just started shouting help. This is so petty on her part. It's not petty. She's trying to steal the bike and or get these black guys arrested. These women, this woman is either a sociopath, a racist, or both, and is just trying to like nab simultaneously a free bike and also just get some black guys arrested. It's like this is an attack that could literally endanger their lives. Is she mentally ill? No, she knows what she's doing.
I will.
Exactly. So take it. So take it.
Stupid ass. Fuck out of here. Dumbass. Your baby gonna come out with
Wait, how you stop crying?
That bike was paid for already by the guy, by the way. If she doesn't return it, he'll be charged $1,200. Oh, it's one of those where you can't just leave it anywhere. You have to bring it back here specifically.
It came down, miss. Not a tear came down.
God damn. It sure is fucking crazy that if you're a black guy, like at any point in time, a white woman could just lock onto you and just decide to like ruin your life. Yeah, she like instantly stops crying the moment she realizes it's not working. Yeah. White woman extinction button win. Jesus, seriously. Some Emmett Till shit. Oh? Wait, is this in... Oh, this is New York City. Wait, she should be fired for this. I genuinely, like, if you see one of your nurses, a person who holds the life of patients in their hands, and you see this insane psycho fucking sociopath shit, she should be fired immediately. Okay, here's a statement from the hospital. Want to see if she's been fired? We've recently become aware of an incident that appeared off campus. One of our employees, we're sorry this happened, are reviewing the incident. Okay, so it's nothing. Great. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck there is to review. Is it alright to call her a crazy white lady? Yes. I hope she better get fired. Oh, they had to pin this, yeah. Maybe there was something that happened before the video started. Why are people... This seems like pretty one and done. I mean, you can see from the behavior in the video that she's acting like a psychopath. Faking crying, faking shouting help. The bike was in the guy's... Like, the guy... It was the guy's. Like, that's why they all had phones out recording her. She just randomly took one of the guy's phones because she didn't want to be recorded lying, obviously. Even the evidence we have right here makes it really fucking clear what she's doing.
She was then doxxed and lost her job. Later evidence showed that she was actually innocent. So how does Mr. Horseman respond to this?
There's no reason to come to a conclusion one way or another in most. But that's the thing. I did come to a conclusion against her in the first video, and everyone agreed. Wouldn't it be a little bit unfairly sanctimonious for me now to suddenly be this disaffected, I can't prove what I didn't see with my own two eyes kind of guy? I think this was predation. Maybe you should wait then. You can't wait infinitely. You get more info and it's like, well, what if another bit of info drops? You have to cover stuff as it happens. So now you want to swing the other way to compensate for embarrassment? No, I just don't think that it was an app error.
Yikes. These people might claim that they advocate for justice, but what they really advocate for is Somalia, a society where pirates still roam the oceans freely and the vast majority of women have their genitals mutilated. But enough of my blabbering. What would someone like Mr. Rogers say about this?
Let's take the gauntlet and make goodness attractive in this so-called next millennium. That's the real job that we have. I'm not talking about Pollyannish kind of stuff. I'm talking about down-to-earth, actual goodness. People caring for each other in a myriad of ways, rather than people knocking each other off all the time. I mean, I don't find that funny at all. What changes the world? The only thing that ever really changes the world is when somebody gets the idea that love can abound and can be shared.
Later on in the film Chicken Little tries to warn the town about aliens he saw, but the aliens already left before they could see them. Since they don't know the full story or what actually happened, he is mocked by everyone and is shunned back into the hole he was in beforehand. So what does this have to do with the internet? Well, on the internet, you rarely ever get the full picture or context behind controversies. So it's easy to get tricked into believing something false from allegations that lack the full context. A good example of this is Destiny, who is good at convincing his followers that all criticism against him is just out of context.
22 seconds. It's not going to give us much context. But
honestly, I'm pro-genocide. It sounds really shitty, but I think that Israel should just draw its fucking borders about where it's.
That was a joke. I remember when he said that. I hate Destiny. That's a fucking joke, you dummy, Boogie.
Oh my god,
that was a joke.
All right, cool.
Buggy.
Oh, how
Yeah,
about here's another one. Here's another one where you got
Buggy. Hold on. Stop. Listen to what I'm saying.
What?
Don't send me videos of kids dying to play on fucking stream. Come on,
That's
bro.
fair.
What are you doing?
Okay, so as you can see here, the people who have tried to take down Destiny weren't necessarily the sharpest tools in the shed, but what actually is the context for this clip, you might wonder?
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. It sounds really shitty, but I think that Israel should just draw its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but that's about where I'm at. I don't know,
You just think the Palestine should just pack up and Native American the fuck out of there?
The problem is that it seems like there is a hugely general hostility to Jewish people across really the entire world, but definitely the Middle East. So the problem is that as you weaken Israel's ability for Jewish people to live there, it seems like because there's a lot of different organizations across the Middle East that are highly invested in the destruction of Israel. So that's a really rough thing too. So it seems like if Israel is forced to make concessions to Palestinians, it threatens Jewish people's ability to have a homeland. And So I don't know. It's really shit. Truthfully, the answer is there's no good answer. It's hard. It's hard. It's a really, really complicated situation.
Well,
it seems like appeasing either end basically means kind of the destruction of the other end. If you give the Jewish people what they want, Palestinians are essentially permanently cucked out of what they feel is their rightful homeland. And if you give Palestinians what they want, then probably a lot of Jewish people are going to die. Yeah,
that's true.
Because I rewatched the VOD before I joined in, and it did sound like you were kind of saying that you were asked what should happen, and I think you described it yourself as having a radicalized position. It felt like when I was speaking to you about it in the moment that you'd kind of moved on to this just seems like the most likely thing. So
I was saying, I think I was giving that as a counter to you saying it was a ridiculous position, but I do think that's probably what should happen. I haven't heard a good argument for what should happen in contrast to that. Short of, like, everybody in the Middle East fucking chills the fuck out. Like, if there wasn't such a threat to Jewish people in the Middle East, I think I would be like, okay, they need to probably give some of this land back, or all of this land back, and then kind of like...
That extra context didn't really help him much, did it? How about we take a look at the context for the whole doxing thing?
Here's the thing, okay? Firstly, people are arguing over whether or not I doxed that girl, okay? I did dox that person, okay? Collecting information, even if public, for the purposes of harassing somebody, is doxing. And that is what I did. I did do it, and I would do it again. If you're going to post pictures of where I'm at, and even jokingly suggest or offer to pay people to come and attack me, I will do whatever the fuck I can, okay, to fuck with your life. Absolutely. Absolutely. And anybody that thinks, even unfollow me and leave, because I will do this over and over and over again. I will keep doing it. If you're deranged enough to, on an account where your information is so easily locatable, to take a fucking picture of me, post it somewhere, Destiny is here at this time, and I'll pay you money if you go and attack him, fuck you. Yeah, of course I'm gonna fucking bring down the weight of the world on you. You're fucking crazy to think that that's even remotely acceptable. You're absolutely out of your mind, and I will do it more and more and more in the future if I ever see somebody do it again. I did go through the account. I made sure it was that person before I tweet everything out, and then I on hard, and I will do it. The fact that somebody would even think that's acceptable, a 26-year-old person think that that's acceptable, you are out of your fucking mind, okay? I do not care. Runday was saying, well, he advertised where he was. I don't care. First of all, I don't think I did for this event. First of all, I do not believe that I did. I think we didn't purposefully advertise this one because we didn't want fans to show up. Number one. Number two, even if I did advertise it, I don't know how to make you guys understand this. If you really disagree with this, post an email and I'll pay people to follow you and do this. I don't know how you have some empathy for me. For me to check my phone and see that somebody has posted a picture of where I'm at right now, saying, "Hey, somebody go egg this dude or somebody go attack this guy." Like, I'll pay money for it. You're out of your mind to think that I would see something like that and then see your real life information attached to it and not bring the weight of the world down on you. You're out of your mind for that. That is insane to me. You're way the over the line at that point. It's not even close. This is like, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes somebody say, yo, this guy, he punched a dude in the face and it looked like he was reaching for a knife and the other guy took out a gun and shot him. And I'm like, I'd have to think about that one. I don't know if that's right or not, right? This is one where somebody's like, a guy posted a picture of this dude and said, I'll pay money for somebody to go egg this guy. And then the guy docs. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I don't even need you to finish the sentence. Yeah, it's the easiest thing in the world. I can't even believe there's a debate. Over it. I don't even really, it's so, all of it is so obvious. It feels stupid to even bring it up. One is you're soliciting violence, whether you think it's a big deal or not, and it's not, by the way. Somebody just throwing an egg is not the most violent thing, but the problem is you're pushing somebody to that point at all. So I don't know if somebody's gonna show up and start doing something. I don't know if that situation will escalate, meaning somebody throws something at me and then one of my fans attack them and then something gets crazy. I don't know if that person would come and do something more. Well, if I could show up and throw an egg at him, maybe I can throw a rock at him, right? I don't know that. I just fought with half of Islam on my Twitter 2 weeks ago. I don't know if somebody would show up, throw something, cause a little bit of a commotion, and then I'm perma-banned from campus, right? Which I'm pretty sure has happened on campuses before, where somebody shows up, and even if they don't start the fight, if somebody else starts the fight, you're just perma-banned from that campus because they don't want you there anymore because they're causing problems. There are so many, and then those are like the weak things. The biggest thing is like somebody says like, oh shit, this Destiny dude, I remember, I'm gonna show up and knife this guy. I'm gonna show up and shoot this guy, or I'm gonna do something more. I'm gonna show up with 4 friends and like cause some big problems. Like, it's just, all of that is so stupid. How do you feel about the egging / milkshaking is simulated assassination? I would agree with it, but I think that the average viewer, you included, is too retarded to even remotely empathize with that position. I understand it. I make a lot of money for what I do or whatever, so you think if I get like kidnapped and raped and all that shit, it's like funny and hilarious or whatever. But the idea of somebody posting pictures where you're at and then calling people to go there and do shit to you it's another world to me, that anybody could think that that's okay. Like, at that point, you have to take a step back and dramatically reevaluate what is going on in your tiny peanut brain fucking mind to think that that type of tweet isn't going to be met with the like harshest of like resistance. it's unbelievable. But yeah. Anyway, so if you were disappointed by my actions there and you thought I overreacted or whatever, I will do it again, repeatedly, over and over in the future. If I ever see anybody do it, I stand by it. I do not disavow it. Same thing with the DDoS kid. I don't disavow any of that. I feel the exact same way, 100%. Okay? I'm a big self-defense kind of guy. All right? If you're actually with somebody, if you're stealing shit from somebody, you're doing shit, 100%. Whether that includes burning down buildings, attacking people, stealing shit from fucking stores, whatever the is, fuck you, okay? We've moved on from that. It's 2023. We don't do that shit anymore. If you want to do it, go do it in some fucked up country or get blown the away for it, okay? Around, find out. Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, I was so, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you have no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting an interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything. Holy fuck.
So now that you've seen the context for the whole doxing thing, let's take a look at the context for when Destiny shared a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini.
All right. The reason I haven't confronted fucking Destiny on this is because Tonka and him are battling. So I'll confront you, Destiny.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you post that picture of the 15-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. Yeah.
In the chat after knowing she was 15.
I guess if I said it, yeah, sure.
In the video, he knew.
Yeah, if that's what's in the pastebin, yeah, sure.
Why would you post that picture, dude?
Because we were talking about fucking 15-year-old fucking fans.
I thought you posted that thinking that she was not. I mean, she was 18.
No, when she sent me the picture, I thought that she was 18.
If you knew she was 15,
you gave him too much credit.
Yeah, if you knew she was 15, then why would you post that fuck? Okay, now this changes my perspective.
It's not a nude picture, Andy. It's not a fucking nude picture.
But she's 15 in a bathing suit, dude.
Sure, it was a dumb thing to do. It's 5 fucking years ago. I'm not like going to sit here and tell you that I should be posting pictures of people.
Fucking acting like it's fucking nothing.
I didn't act like it was nothing. It's a 5-year-old fucking post from a chat log, dude.
You made it seem like
people will beat your fucking ass.
Holy shit, you're not beating anybody's ass, dude. You can't even find the fucking state you're in. You couldn't find your own state on a fucking map. You dumb motherfucker.
You made it seem like the moment you found out, and by the way, if anyone wants to like be careful or
yeah, that when I found out that she was 18, when she was under 18, I stopped talking to her. Yeah, sure.
Earlier in this chat,
the 15-year-old, you fucking piece of shit.
Earlier in this chat, if you rewind it, the moment you found you said the moment you found out she was 15, you backed off, and
you deleted it.
That's a lie.
I stopped talking to her and I like removed my fucking shit off Skype and shit. Yeah.
I thought you thought she was 18, and then you probably shared the picture. But no, you lied.
No, dude. Why? No, I didn't think she was 18 to share the picture. It was in the context of the conversation, Andy.
No,
dude, if you
fucking lied.
Holy shit, you're so triggered, dude. Sit the fuck down, kid. Holy shit. Do you want to sit here and like dig through a fucking chat log from 2012? I don't know. I probably said a lot of fucking stupid shit back then. Yeah, I posted a picture. It was fucking stupid. I probably shouldn't do it. But it's not a nude fucking picture. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not sharing fucking child porn. This guy is triggered out of his fucking mind for no fucking reason. Yeah, what's up?
If you forgot what happened, then why did you make up a story and tell us that earlier?
I didn't forget what happened for shit.
There was
Jim brought up something about talking about the chick's tits. The only thing that I remember from that conversation was talking about the tits of the original girl that I was talking about. If you scroll down in that conversation, there's a
15-year-old
No. The one who originally leaked these logs. Okay, I thought that that's what I was talking about. If you scroll down at the end of the conversation, you see that's what we're talking about. I forgot that it happened in the beginning. I'm sorry, dude. I did. It's legitimately my mistake. I'll own it. It was my mistake. I referenced it obviously in these chat logs. But again, like these chat logs are fucking 5 years old, dude. I don't remember every fucking thing that I said in them. I know that I don't know, probably 23, I guess.
Dude, you can't be fucking posting fucking pictures of fucking 15-year-olds in a bathing suit. You know.
Okay,
right?
sure. Yeah, sure. And I wouldn't do it now. I don't do it now. I think it's pretty wrong. I mean, it was stupid to do it back then. They did a lot of fucking stupid shit back then, sure.
It's not pretty wrong. It's very wrong.
I mean, they're not nude pictures, but yeah, I would agree with you. But like this guy over here is acting like I'm literally fucking 15-year-olds and sharing their fucking nudes. Like these were pictures that the chick had posted on her fucking Facebook. These are literally pictures. These are literally we're not talking about her sexually. We're talking about not hooking up with 15-year-olds.
You're talking about how you were going to hook up with her.
Somebody said, just tell her not to.
Somebody, you little piece of shit.
So I said she wants to meet and hook up, and the guy said, and I said, dude, she's 15. What the fuck?
Wow, yikes. Now that you've seen the context for the whole 15-year-old thing, let's look at the context for a couple other clips used to accuse Destiny of being into kids.
So in the case of pedophilia here, right? Like, could pedophilia be okay in like another world? Like, I mean, I said I would grant you that, like, if we lived in a society where sexual activity didn't matter, where people like walked up on the street and like slapped dicks with each other and like, you know, touched each other and it wasn't really a big deal at all, then in that world, I mean, yeah, pedophilia probably wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be like hugging a kid or giving him a shoulder rub or something like that. But as it exists in society today, sexual activity carries an enormous stigma with it. That we can't ignore that. And when anybody is making a consideration of whether or not they can perform an action, they have to understand the long-term ramifications of that action, whether or not the action itself might be morally good or morally bad. That's kind of a separate discussion would be what I would say.
I think it's like a really, irrelevant ramble, because I think really we should just stick the discussion to whether or not we think having sexual acts with a children is morally permissible. Because going back to your blue crayon analogy, in that context where, you know, the person get beaten up for using a blue crayon, in that context, I don't think he should use that blue crayon. Similar to right now, I don't think a pedophile should have a sexual interaction with a child or possess child pornography. It'd probably be beneficial for him in this kind of society not to do it. But never in that analogy that you give would you say that it was wrong to use a fucking blue crayon. So as I said, it's what are you talking about, buddy?
Sure. So like in this then,
let's just can we just talk about whether or not you think like having sexual acts with a child is adult having sexual acts with a child is good or bad in your opinion?
Sure. So if that's the case, then we probably don't disagree on much, but I feel like the way that you're approaching the argument then is very strange. And that the way that you should approach this argument then is you should just say that, well, sexual activity really shouldn't carry any stigma with it at all. Because you could... Well, yeah, then why not? Wait, then why not just make that argument instead of jumping straight to pedophilia? Because pedophilia would be a natural extension. Well, because I would say that like pedophilia would be like a natural extension of that system if you established that as a foundational belief, right? If you say that like, because then anything fits in, right? Handshakes don't carry any social stigma. Head pats don't carry any social stigma. Sexual activity shouldn't carry any social stigma. Well, then from there you would say that, okay, well, yeah, well, any sexual activity then shouldn't really be that big of a deal.
Oh, hold on, buddy. So basically you're saying that if society was more cool with pedophilia, then you'd support pedophilia.
Well, if society was set up, if society was set up in such a way that pedophilic actions didn't carry potentially long-term negative mental or social ramifications with them, then then the child does have the ability more to consent with that activity because there isn't long-term ramifications that he's not capable of conceiving.
So basically, you are absolutely fine with a child fucking an adult.
In a society,
if we live in a utopian society.
Where there's absolute, I mean, like, you have to be really careful with the way you phrase this because society doesn't work this way right now. But if we lived in an absolutely utopian society where there was no stigma whatsoever on any type of sexual activity, then you could probably make that argument. I don't know, maybe you would dig into other arguments for why people should or shouldn't do things, but...
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
What about child pornography?
So that's kind of a different thing. There's like moral versus pragmatic sides of that, and I've seen a little bit of evidence on the pragmatic side, and it seems like an okay thing. I probably shouldn't say that, or it sounds bad, but like from what I've read, apparently men that are given access to child pornography have a higher chance of not actually committing pedophilic actions in real life. And I would argue that would be a moral good, that if you can prevent people from acting on those urges, that's something that should be explored for sure in a responsible environment. But I would have to make sure that data is 100% accurate.
Right, so you're pretty open to the possession of child pornography.
Well, not like the mainstream like production of and recruiting children to create it.
Oh, I mean, if it's like if it involves coercion, then no. But I'm thinking that like perfectly consensual, sex, and the child agrees to having the footage posted online. I think that would be perfect.
Yeah. So
fine.
again, this is your argument here is like almost tautological, and that's why we keep disagreeing. You keep saying consensual child sex, and I disagree. I think that's an oxymoron.
Right,
I don't think children can consent to that. The things that I've heard discussed is I've heard that some researchers discuss the possibility of reaching out to people that are already of age. So reaching out to 20 or 30-year-old people that have had child pornography created for them, and then compensating them in some way, and then asking for use of that in treatments of pedophiles in order to keep them from offending. That's what I've read. And again, I'm not entirely sure what the conclusion is on that research, if that would prevent people from actually molesting children or not. If it would, then I would agree that that's something that should be pursued. If it wouldn't, then I would, maintain the position we have on it now. But
okay, that's interesting.
But keep in mind we're coming at this from different points of view, because my goal is to reduce the amount of pedophilia. Your goal is that pedophilia is okay. So I might agree with you on the action of some things, but our rationale for those actions and the outcomes that we're looking for are going to be much different. Where my outcomes are always goaled towards reducing the amount of actual child molestation, but your goal is to just normalize and make that an okay thing. These are two different things, right?
That's cool. Okay, and so that was a cool discussion. I heard you were open to the idea of incest, from what I know. So
I just think it's a different. All of these discussions are interesting to me because it's a good exploration of how we view sexuality and how we view consent and a lot of these complicated issues. So I think the discussions are always interesting, and I think that if people are revolted by a subject but they can't actually verbalize a defense of their revulsion, then that probably means they should stop and think about it a little bit more. So if somebody says well, what do you think about pedophilia, and they just say, well, you're a kitty fucker, it's like, okay, well, do you actually have an argument against it or not? Or what do you think about incest? Oh, you want to just fuck your sister? Well, okay, so do you actually have so I think it's important to explore those ideas.
That's great.
You're literally saying social contract is more valuable than life itself, so that gives you the right to massacre an entire population of people.
Well, in terms of how rights are doled out, right? You look to government to limit rights. So you assume that you can unless there's a law that tells you can't. So just because I'm saying you can do something doesn't mean I'm saying it's morally righteous to do something. You can go outside and tear up every piece of grass or kill all the squirrels in your backyard if you want. You can do that. I'm not saying that it's morally righteous to. I'm just not saying it's morally incorrect to do so either.
Okay, so we talked about you just to be clear, you did say it's basically morally neutral to torture an animal to death, skin it alive and kill it, right?
Correct, yeah.
You'd consider that morally neutral?
Yes.
Okay, so would it also be morally neutral to go over to that island where the indigenous people live? Would it be morally neutral to tie them all up and rape them all to death, even the little children?
Yeah, it would have to be, yes.
Really?
Assuming we're assuming in this example that this is a group of people that could never ever grow to respect social contract, right? So when you say children, I kind of wondered, do you mean people that could be integrated into society, that could grow to be part of because if that was the case, then obviously no, that would be abhorrent. But if this was a group of beings that were for some reason incapable of ever respecting social contract or other people's right to live, then yeah, of course you would have to say yeah.
Okay. That's some crazy shit.
All right. So now you can see how much a powerful figure can use plausible deniability to their advantage to control the rhetoric. But what happens when someone who is not so lucky ends up having a lack of perspective hurt them? Well, let's take a look at behind the meme. Somebody who had a loyal fan base until somebody named Imp Lemon made a video about why they think their content is bad, which led to a hate mob that doxed him, and he eventually made depressing videos that got a lot of people to support him again, until he made a video with a fake suicide scene in it. And due to people not understanding his intentions, he was attacked again, until the same guy who made the video that criticized his content stuck up for him.
I was so prepared to get up there on my high horse and dance around on his channel's grave saying I told you so. I was so ready to take all the hate I got from that behind the meme video and say, well, look at this. Look who was right the whole time. But then right as behind the meme's reputation was just burning down right in front of my eyes, I didn't feel any gratification. Everything had gone exactly how I thought it would, and yet I didn't feel like I won anything. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually feel bad for Behind the Meme now. And the reason for that is the video he uploaded where he fictitiously shoots himself in the head was so unbelievably poorly executed that I realized that Behind the Meme may have honestly thought in his head that this was a good idea and that he was supporting a noble cause. For this whole time I was against Behind the Meme, it was predicated under the assumption that he had some sort of ulterior motive, like he was making videos for money or attention, or simply to take advantage of people, or because he was lazy. But never once did I consider that this guy might just be some fool with a genuinely good heart who somehow stumbled his way into this position of influence by just sheer dumb luck. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that Behind the Meme, this whole time, might have just been some naive guy with nothing but good intentions. I've just become so used to the idea that YouTubers are disingenuous people, that they all carry around this fake persona where they do nothing but pander to fans and market themselves and help their personal brand and wheel and deal behind the scenes to make sure that their channel makes as much money as possible. And I never considered the possibility that perhaps Behind the Meme isn't any of those things, and what he does and says in his videos is just honestly how he is in real life. And the more I think about it, the more I believe that it's actually true. I mean, Behind the Meme doesn't act like other YouTubers. And with that being said, the first thing that comes to mind is that he has done no networking whatsoever. He has never ever spoken to anyone from the meme community, or even the YouTube community for that matter. He never buttered himself up to any bigger YouTuber when he was trying to get popular. He literally did everything by himself, without any other YouTuber's help or approval. And when I think of his videos, even though they tend to carry the appearance of gimmicky clickbait, he just doesn't seem to employ the same tactics that other sleazy YouTubers use when they're trying to game the system and only care about views and money. Sure, his videos may seem padded out, but he never seemed to stretch all of them out to 10 minutes to get more ad breaks. He didn't upload every day trying to soak in as many views as possible. He never really shilled out merchandise. He never did scammy gift card giveaways. He didn't do any of that stuff that most YouTubers do when they only care about money and attention. It seems like from all the actions of his YouTube career, Behind the Meme may have just been a guy who simply took satisfaction from making people happy. Take it from me, a guy who many people view as Behind the Meme's worst enemy. His videos might be mediocre and dumb and really poorly thought out, but it's just not worth hating the guy.
And while we're at it, I have another example of this that has never been shared around by social media or commentary channels. You definitely haven't heard of this person before, but they went by the name Shirley.xml and had false pedo accusations ruin their career, and they didn't really have their own perspective heard. Here's the only footage left covering this.
Well, well, well. Look who's finally back after 3 months of pure silence. The person who's been on and off harassing me for over 2 years over a drama that's been resolved. It's Polar 2. Shirley.xml blocked me for asking a question. Oh, boo fucking who. Anyway, let's listen to this train wreck.
Hey guys, so I have some very special news for you. So, do you know Shirley.xml? Well, they are Panori Dev.
No shit. I've talked about this before. Anyone that's known me for a long time has known this. This is not new.
And I asked them a question about Finder. If you don't know, Panori Dev was that fucking prick that DJ3 exposed that groomed Finder.
We've been over this. It was not grooming. It was a one-time mistake that I made and learned from. Get the fuck over it. Also, I'd like to point out that this voice is so obviously fucking British that there's no way you'd think it wasn't Polar. For reference, here's a video they tagged me in that I saved before they deleted.
And I confess that it's all true. But that's for another time. Now, about my multiple names. Polar is more of an alter ego than a person.
So yeah, this is definitely Polar trying to pretend to be someone else. The reason why I think this crackhead Paludo person is Polar, aside from their voice, is as follows. Polar is a system of, last I checked, 3. One of their alters goes by Polar, another goes by Chloe, and the third don't know, don't care. In my Discord server, I have roles for systems. A role that says, I am a system, in all caps, and a role that says, ask fronter for pronouns, also in all caps. Dale here had both of those equipped, and that message at the top there, that is the first message they sent me. Are you Pinori Dev? Polar loves calling me Pinori Dev, so yeah, this is too much to be a coincidence. Anyway, let's continue.
Like, say, 2-3 years ago, I think it was?
2 years ago. You even acknowledge that it was that long ago. Yet you're so persistent on harassing me about it after all this time because you crackheads have nothing better to do. I'm sorry your parents neglected you, but do not take it out on me.
And I recently found out that they were Pinori Dev by a person I'm not going to say because...
Ahem. You found out it was me because I told you. Even if that's not the case, anyone with a brain that's known me since the drama happened would know I'm obviously the same person. I'm not even trying to hide it at this point because there's nothing to hide. I am Pinori Dev. I just don't go by that name anymore. For someone that claims to know so much about the drama of 2022, you're really fucking stupid.
And they've changed their name because they don't want to get into drama.
I'm sorry, is your name Shirley? No, you're Polar. Polar is not Shirley, so why are you making assumptions about why I changed my username? Oh, I know, because you love spreading misinformation like all internet trolls.
I found out, and I asked them politely, are you Pinori Dev? She says that she doesn't go by her name anymore, and she has improved. She said yes, and I had a question. I asked her, why did she group find her?
You want to know why so badly? You want to fucking know why? Polar, Dale, whoever you really are, I don't give a shit. You want to know why I did what I did? Because 15-year-old me was a pathetic incel that lacked self-control and had no sense of boundaries. So yeah, I acted out, I got what I deserved, I learned from my mistake, and never repeated it again. Now Toothpick and I are cool. No grooming occurred. Does that satisfy your everlasting desire to know why I did what I did? No, it probably doesn't. Does all of this probably translate into, blah blah, Shirley's a pedophile, blah blah, Hitler's stupid little trolling organization? It probably does.
She pulled a thing from my card where it said, if you're going to add me to harass me, I'm just going to block you, full stop. She said, how funny, she called that. Then she proceeded to block me, later ban me from her server. For the most stupidest reason as well.
For the most stupid reason? The only stupid thing here is you. How does one join a community server just to harass the owner about a drama that was resolved ages ago, and then complain about being banned? Like, you called me by an alias I don't go by anymore, then you followed that up by claiming I groomed someone. I'm sorry, is that not grounds for a perm ban? Human stupidity knows no fucking bounds these days, I swear.
I will read it out loud. Shirley's community, you have been hammer emoji banned by realshirley.xml. Reason, bringing up old drama. Your ban will last permanently. What the actual fuck? Like, it's fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. Why? I asked her a question politely, and she just said, you outshone your card that says, if you're gonna harass me, I'm gonna block you. Yeah, I do that because I don't like fucking groomers like you.
Yeah, keep spreading that misinformation. Spreading misinformation ain't gonna get you a job. Spreading misinformation ain't gonna get you laid. Spreading misinformation is only gonna get you clowned on, but you seem to be fine with that.
Yeah, like I said, they blocked me. The same person that I'm gonna remain anonymous told me that yes, indeed, that is Pinori Dev. The same fucking brain dead piece of shit that groomed Finder. So, I don't know what to fucking say. It's just absolutely retarded as fuck.
Retarded as fuck. Like you? You man-children that are still complaining about the drama of 2022 to this day really must live incredibly unproductive lives. Love me or hate me, I've changed. No hate videos you make, no re-uploads of the exposing stream from 2022, no paragraphs of hatred can change that. If you have a problem with that, guess what? Fuck off. There's no way you don't have anything better to do in your life than harass someone who made a simple mistake. But then again, we live in a world where someone got doxxed for drawing anime on MS Paint, so I guess there is worse out there, but seriously, you all need intense therapy, especially you, Polar, or Dale, whoever this really is. So there you go. My answer to your little question. I blocked you because you're an attention-seeking troll who would rather spend their days picking at people over old dramas than doing something of value. And the fact that I played nice with you when you first joined, and you have the audacity to do this is why I don't like playing nice with people like you. You want to know the funniest thing? Your hatred for me contradicts your hatred for Toothpick. If you hate Toothpick, surely you'd get a kick out of bad things happening to him. If you hate me, you do shit like this in support of him. But forget that. Internet trolls have never heard of logic. That explains why you're so oblivious as to why I blocked and banned you from my server. It also explains why, despite it having been 2 years since the drama, you're still bitching about it as if it happened yesterday. Grow the fuck up, you baby. Or am I gonna have to call for mama so she can give you your bottle? 2022 was 2 years ago. Get a fucking life and leave Toothpick and I alone for once. What happened happened. Everyone has moved on. Except that.
Chicken Little is bullied by the entire town for over a year, is ostracized out of society, is harassed on his way to school, has objects thrown at him, is almost ran over by drivers, has a game made out of beating him in school, etc. Does this sound familiar? Well, it should, because this happens all the time on the internet too. Well, you already know at this point. How about we take a look at the case where real-life Brian Griffin, Vosh slandered someone as a pedo with out-of-context screenshots, which completely ruined their lives.
Extreme Dad, it doesn't take much to manipulate people into believing that you flirted with a 14-year-old with cringy pickup lines when we have screen caps of you flirting with someone who you believe to be a 14-year-old girl using cringy pickup lines. It's actually a really easy sort of draw on my part. And the next person, Extreme Dad, who is a pedophile, has my picture as his profile. That's nice. I like that. Anyway, holy shit. Every single time... He actually is a pedophile. We have banned him from our... I'm not joking. Extreme Dad, we banned him from... Yeah, we banned him from our Discord server because he was flirting with 14-year-old girls, saying like... something like, I can be your daddy, I go rough, or some shit like that, knowing that they were 14. We had to ban him from the server for that. We've got screen caps, logs, everything. It's incontrovertible. Anyway, so a fun harem of pedophiles and the mentally ill here in the SpreadTube Kiwi Farms thread, which is great. Just so everybody knows, we have a person in our Discord server who occasionally, when they feel as though there might be creepos around, pretends to be 14 to see if they can bait any creepos. Doing God's work, right? I actually know this person. They're like 27. I've talked to them for quite a while, so not actually 14. Anyhow, there are logs of this person saying, I am 14, and Extreme Dad being like, I can be your daddy. I'm here for this shit. I want to do this perfectly. And continuing to deliberately flirt with a person who was posing as 14. And this was after, and this was made known only after Extreme Dad got banned from Destiny's Discord server for also apparently flirting with a 14-year-old. Hyena, Extreme Dad, when there's smoke, there's fire, and we literally have screen caps of you doing it. Why lie to yourself? Extreme Dad, why can't you just come out and say, I'm a proud ephebophile, and I want to absolutely clap some underage cheeks? Extreme Dad, what truth are you telling? Also, should I ban you from this? I don't want you like courting any kids here. We have like a DM system over this website. How many chicks are you messaging right now, Extreme Dad? I know a few of them that are underage. I'm not giving you their names. Why would you lie and say that they messaged you and you told them to get the fuck out when there are screen caps of that not happening? You know when you told them to get the fuck out? When you realized that you were being lied to about them being 14. You were like, yes, I can't wait to slurp up the delicious nectar of this underage milady. And then you realized that she was 27 and you were like, I'm not a fucking necrophile. I'm getting out of here. Please show the screen cap. No. I mean, I could. Hyena has them, I don't. They said they were over 14 over voice chat. After that, he engaged in DM flirting. Yeah, where he talked about if he could be her daddy, and she was like, you don't mind that I'm young? And he was like, no, I don't mind. And after he got banned from Destiny's Discord for the same thing. Hey, Extreme Dad, what did you go to jail for? Oh yeah, Extreme Dad, he said he would break all the chairs in the world to sit on her face. To a 14-year-old. Damn. What if some of those chairs belonged to 13-year-olds who would have, upon seeing you not break their chair, offered up a crumb of pussy? Oh yeah, well, here's the screenshot. So this was after Ciancius was saying in a voice chat that she's 14. With other people were there to verify this, by the way. They don't call me daddy for no reason. I'd break every chair in the world just so you have to sit on my face. What's DDLG? That means Daddy Dom Little Girl. You're on your own. You're okay with the fact I'm younger than Daddy? Sure. Extreme Dad, this isn't a court of law. Everyone here already thinks you're a pedophile. Why not just own it? And just Extreme Dad, I feel like the lying is like makes it worse. Like if you just stood up and you were like, yeah, you know what, fuck it. I do go for that sweet teen pussy, and then dropped shit and left the chat, I mean, no one would like you, but there would be a certain level of respect for your bravado, I think. I think I can speak for chat when I say that.
Okay, so you might be wondering, what is the context for that screenshot that was shown?
You said you were hitting on me during the test.
Hi.
Hi?
These people are quite rude.
You like tying girls up?
With the rope?
Yeah. Guys tie me up for some reason.
It's not really my thing, but I do aim to please. So whatever you want, I will provide.
What do you want to do? I'm pretty sub.
I mean, they don't call me daddy for no reason. And I'd break every chair in the world just so you could sit on my face.
What's DDLG?
You're on your own, lol.
You okay with the fact that I'm younger than Daddy?
Sure, we're just talking, obviously.
True.
I mean, I expect you to comply with the laws of where you live, and I'll do the same, lol.
Okay, Daddy. Sure. I look like most 14-year-olds. Are you okay with that?
If you're under the age of 18, I wouldn't be okay with the sexual relationship with you. I will chit-chat with you on a professional or personal level, though, in a way that doesn't involve sexual behavior, if you so desire.
I like sexual relationships.
How old are you?
14.
Well then, I suggest you seek some constructive lifestyle choices and spend less time exploiting other people with your fake-ass bullshit.
Huh?
This is the way people act over there, huh? Yeet!
Several years later, Extreme Dad confronts Vosh for slandering him as a pedo. And how does he respond? You might wonder.
Vosh, I was just wondering, I've waited a really long time for this. And I was just wondering if you could tell the people what made you decide to lie and with intent deceive and defraud your audience, calling me a pedophile when you knew that to not be true, and what's kept you from retracting that when all the evidence and everything come out, and you've ignored me, you haven't responded to my emails, you cost me a lot, your audience has doxed and harassed me, the compounding negativity that you've caused me.
Wait, is this Extreme Dad?
It sure is, buddy.
Okay.
Do you realize that people still harass me about that today?
No, that's the idea of this being anything other than self-directed is unfathomable to me, because I don't see.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Nobody.
Yes, this is about me.
No, yeah, I know that. So nobody in my community that I see, at least, like engagement-wise, I don't see people talking about you. Normally, when there's like community harassment that's ongoing, it's kind of like kept, like a flame is kept kind of smoldering by some sort of persistent engagement. I haven't seen that happen, which makes me wonder what the fuck is going on with you. Listen, Extreme Dad, I don't remember anything about our engagement.
Well, let me refresh your memory. You said
perhaps it might. I just want to make.
Perhaps it might be most effective to just briefly apologize and then
wait. I don't know. Apologize. What? Sure. I don't even know what the stakes are.
Saying you said that I was in your server, that you caught me preying on minors in your community. You
I don't
said
manage my Discord server. I think I remember
your Reddit account, Irish Laddie, said that I got caught preying on children.
Sir, you have to let him respond. You've made an allegation. Vosh, go ahead.
No, I don't even know. I think I remember like 3 years ago, Extreme Dad was somebody who was on my stream once or twice. And then some years ago, somebody was like, oh, he was being creepy to a minor in Discord, so we removed him. And then later someone was like, oh, what happened to Extreme Dad? And I was like, oh, that happened to Extreme Dad. I don't directly manage Discord server moderation because I'm a very busy guy.
No, but you directly manage the words that come out of your mouth.
Okay.
And you went on stream and you said to your audience that you had caught me preying on minors.
Okay. I don't remember.
And that
the
was not
exact
true, was it?
Words.
That was not true, was it?
How would I just
was that
repeated
true
what
or
my
not?
Discord...
Was it true or not?
Okay,
Did you
okay, stop.
Okay.
Stop.
So I would submit his behavior here as evidence towards insanity.
Did you or did you not catch me preying on minors, Vosh?
Catch you?
Was there any?
You gotta let him respond, buddy. I muted you till he does.
Oh no. Okay. Look, if this is literally like me repeating something a Discord mod, I don't even know which Discord mod, but like generally speaking, I think that my Discord mods do a good job of assessing. People complain about them, of course, but complain about everyone. Of assessing whether or not somebody's like engaging in bad behavior. However, the idea that like you being removed from a Discord server and flippantly mentioned by me has led to 3 years of harassment towards you is, I'm just going to say it without any knowledge at all, insane. So whatever happens, this is self-directed. Whatever is happening here, this is like you've carried this with you, okay? But you know what? I don't care, because I was just repeating something a Discord mod said 3 years ago. So sure, I exonerate you. To my knowledge, you're not a pedophile. You've never been a pedophile. You are an upstanding human in every respect. And I don't care, and I wish you the best of luck. You're not getting back in the Discord server, though.
Last word, then we're going to let you go, nobody.
I don't remember enough to engage.
And do you apologize for any negativity or pain that he caused me?
Okay, some of the negativity was because I remember those debates with you, and I think we have some pretty strong political disagreements. So I think at least some of the negativity had to have been warranted based on direct engagements with you.
Yeah, okay. But some of it was probably the result of saying that I was preying on minors in your community, I would imagine.
Well,
right? That would probably cause a little bit of negativity to be sent my way, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if I'm officially...
And that wasn't true. So
right.
I'm just saying, can you apologize for saying it?
Take your word for it. You know what? I'm sorry for all the harm that I've caused you. I don't know.
So
I don't know if
that.
I have, and I certainly don't think it was knowing. But I hope that you do well, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, and I wish you no ill will moving forward.
Day. Apologies.
No, that's fine. That took me a sec. I was like flashing back there. I was like running through those like mental Rolodexes to try to find out what was going on there. I hope he turns out okay. You know, even with the people I have strong disagreements with or whatever, I don't like revel in the thought of anyone being unhappy. Even people I have strong disagreements with, I hope that unhappiness is a catalyst to help them with self-improvement. But in that case, that seems like it's a wacky case. Wacky case. Extreme Dad's Twitter description is literally "Vosh hurt me." Oh. Okay, look. For real, I don't want any harassment directed against the guy. I don't even know. I can't. I'm not investing myself in this. but I hope he hurts no more. In the waiting chat, Extreme Dad was just complaining about how you ruined him. I hope he lives freely. I hope he spreads his wings and flies like a bird. I can't read that out loud, Tequila Sunset, or he's going to get upset with me again. But Extreme Dad is now the strongest person in the Vosh extended universe because I can't criticize him without starting another vengeance arc, and I have to I have to. He's the guy I got to be watching out behind my shoulder,
Okay, so you can see that Vosh's community has engaged in doxing and real-life harassment. But does Vosh himself support this?
We need to intimidate the fascists, which does not stop at where Antifa has been stopping lately. For the sake of YouTube, TOS, I'll leave it at that. But my opinions on political violence are pretty well known, I think.
I think we should make them afraid to leave the house, but I think we should do this by humiliation, by doxing them and by milkshaking them. I think violence actually plays into their wheelhouse because, they can do exactly what they've done. They can show the video, and people like Andy No-Go gets $200,000 in charity off of it.
I am extremely pro-doxing, 100%. It's legal. It can't come back to us because the police will always side with fascists. It's legal. It's humiliating in many cases. I think that's 100% like something that needs to be pursued.
It's funny you mentioned that because the first time I ever knew that Shoe on Head was a person that existed in the universe is because I was on Twitter advocating for doxing people. And she came on my Twitter and started shitting on me and attacking me for being pro-doxing. And that's how, we started our Twitter feud.
Our next talk, I'm going to talk with her sometime soon. I'm going to try and bring her over on political violence, which I include doxing it. So I am...
Tell her to own up to her shit. Like, I have no problem being friends with her. She just got to own... She can't sweep shit under the rug. She just got to own up to it. It just...
No, I get it. I promise you. No, I agree with all of your prescriptive judgments. It's only in what to do about them that we differ. But in every, descriptive, what ought be done, I completely agree with you.
Okay, so now that you have seen the context for the Extreme Dad drama, what about the context for the whole Poppy thing?
Really nasty stuff. Nasty Bonnell. But that's the gist of it. Poppy is not worth apologizing to. She is barely worth the fucking intrinsic human rights to which all human beings are endowed, okay? She is a disgusting human being. And that doesn't mean what I did wasn't wrong. It does mean I will never apologize to her. But I would love to have her on stream sometime because she is a nervous, anxious, neurotic liar. And it would be really, really easy to reduce her to a sobbing mess publicly. Would this make me look better in the public eye? No, it would make me look worse. But it would be very satisfying.
You buy your ticket.
I'm not asking you what is the most efficacious way of ending the harassment that I experience from her. I'm asking you if she believes she is justified in engaging in that.
She believes she's justified.
But that doesn't okay. All right. So actually, how about this, okay? No, hold on. No. I have a great fucking counter argument, okay? Here's my new position. So Poppy has been lying about and harassing me on and off for the past year and a half. This actually really upsets me. So I'm declaring a fatwa on her, okay? I think that Poppy is subhuman, and I'm perfectly 100% okay with the religious armies of the world bearing down upon her in a babel of swords and explosions and bullets. Whatever happens to her physical body is of not my concern, and I hope her soul is judged soundly by God. And because this is what I deem to be fair, you cannot argue with my argument here. This is my just feelings, and I am valid in those feelings.
Yeah, and if she decides, I'm really trying to understand because all I'm saying is, if you didn't want her to do these things, you would apologize, right?
Well, yes, you are being sexually aggressive, and yes, she is making it clear to you that she's not interested in flirting with you. So yes, I guess that's sexual harassment. But
yeah, no, it's bad. I won't make apologies or excuses for that. I think that Poppy's behavior after that has been abhorrent, and I'll freely throw accusations at her and at Pastel. But I don't mean that to dismiss the legitimacy of the sort of core nugget here, which was poor behavior on my part. I very much take ownership of that.
So I'm going to shit on you a little bit about one thing. And I was with you with the whole chat and everything, and then after all that, you, I guess, released a public message where you said something about having anal sex with her until her ass prolapses. Did you say that after all this, or like
yeah, I
did you
believe
say
it was
that?
after. This was more a product of this. I won't apologize for. This is mostly a product of Destiny's Discord. Destiny's Discord is and always has been an extremely aggressive, contentious debate. Everyone says every slur. I mean, you're familiar with Destiny. I'm sure you're familiar with what kind of community he fosters. So after Poppy accused me of engaging in sexual harassment, she also accused me of being a rapist and a pedophile. So from my perspective, being accused of being a rapist and a pedophile from somebody who was a week ago my friend makes me think like, oh, fuck it. Yeah, let's go. And then from that point forward, a whole bunch of very nasty shit was said to her from me and about me from her. Of course, what I said gets screen capped because she like obsessively went over years old screen logs to pick out what makes me look bad. But in reality, at the time it took place, people were like cheering on, like, oh yeah, fuck him up, fuck her up.
Yeah, but
no
you can see why that's a bad look, though, when somebody's accusing you of sexual harassment and then you say that you're going to have anal sex with them until their ass prolapses.
I mean, yeah, no, like, is it irresponsible? Definitely. But in, like, internet blood sports, edgy Discord drama culture, like, nah, fuck it. If someone's gonna call me a fucking, like, rapist pedophile, nah, I'm not gonna be nice to this person. I don't give a fuck. Now, optics-wise, if I had known I would be a public figure just years down the line, I might have been more responsible, but at the time, it was the reasonable, edgy thing. And of course, she was doing the same back at me. Oh, you must rape little kids. So
And
it was a shit show.
After I blocked him for trying to groom me when I was going through a traumatic experience as an autistic young person, he told me he wanted to prolapse my anus and rape me for months on end. Did not stop until mods got involved and never apologized. Then I found that he was doing the same thing recently to a non-binary person I knew but wasn't friendly with, and my heart sank. He outed me after I brought it to Destiny's attention and leaked logs which contained my docs. He has continued to smear me as a bad person, as well as the other person he harassed, and a perpetual liar and drama seeker. They told her that she should kill herself, and from what we've seen of them wishing harm on her, obviously that's not out of this world for them to have done either. She said she's been told that her suicidal ideation was just attention-seeking and threats by his closest comrades, despite the fact that when I was harassed by him first, I was coping with the trauma of rape and countless other things and indeed almost killed myself. I had a boyfriend 2 years ago when Vorsh started contacting me who I was asexual with and had such a low libido, I felt like killing myself every day and had no one to talk to, and he took advantage of that to try to get sex. I never once responded to any of his advances. And he constantly tried to pressure me into sending him nudes, as well as sending me fake out pictures that look like his dick and pictures of him in the shower and posting pics in public chat of his ass. I said multiple times no. After I blocked him, that's when the worst of the abuse started. He tried to alienate me from my friends in the community and spread lies that I was racist and anti-communist, tried to convince everyone that I was a liar and just starting drama. He would at me things like he wanted to fuck my ass until it prolapsed, knowing that, oh, that's extra context. So she told him that her ex-boyfriend had raped her, like, anally. That's why Vorsh was saying that specifically, because she had confided in him that had happened to her. He sexualized me in other ways too. The second victim was obviously mentally unstable, even more so than me, posting self-harm pics everywhere, absent at the time like me. He tried to argue it was okay to cross boundaries and pressure people because he was trying to fix repression. Like I said, he has not apologized to either of us, and there have been 2 other anonymous victims in the Destiny community. After this, he erupted, changed his name from Irish Lady to Vorsh to escape culpability. Like I said, he has not apologized to either of us, and there have been 2 other anonymous victims in the Destiny. I already went over that. I can't verify this next claim, but someone who still watches his stream said he was sexualizing me on stream, saying I had incestual fantasies about my brother. I wholeheartedly believe he, to this day, has no respect for boundaries and no concept of consent, as evidenced by him stealing his website's CSS from another streamer's sysadmin. Well, that's a bit of a stretch to link that to sex, but whatever. And another thing, the NB person he harassed, he claims me and them conspired. She doesn't like this person much at all, and she hasn't talked to them outside of 1 week in March after this transpired. He grasped at straws. She directly said what it would take for her to believe he had changed, a direct apology to both her and the other victims, both private and public, a willingness to learn about sexual boundaries and consent from feminists, a long overdue break from sexual commentary and jokes and slur usage, i.e. listening to the victims, criticizing others who endorse rapists, and a 5-figure anonymous donation to a sexual assault legal clinic or charity, Since he claims to make 6 figures, yeah, obviously that would be fair. Revocation of every time he has smeared me or any other victim involved, and to cease using the website that he stole from someone else. This is like a retrospective about like a year or two later. I was hounded for months after the stream, called all sorts of words by his fan base, had my private life dug into, had their Discord team try to organize a doxing brigade to find my information so they could sue me for defamation and also warn my school and work. People tried to dig up some very unsavory pics from years prior based on information I told him in confidence, and he posted it publicly, even though I begged him to not. Contacted my friends to tell them I was a racist conservative, even though I'm more left-leaning than most of them, etc., etc. The bulk of this was directed by him, as he spent the better part of the last 2 years leaving sensitive info in the logs even after being asked, saying that I was only seeking attention, crazy, unstable, and a sociopath, saying that I had a vendetta out to ruin his life and destroy him, how, when I have dropped off the internet since and he did not have much of a presence to begin with, saying I was an angry racist conservative who was threatened by him politically. Even after his very late apology video, most of the above continued. This just goes over how it's a bullshit that she was seeking attention. I don't think we need to give that idea any credence at all. Being a liar, blah blah, doxing and harassment. The doxing brigade to sue me for defamation was led by his girlfriend, Hyena. I don't know if he knew, of course he fucking knew. The original chat logs contained her docs, and I messaged him as soon as I found out he released them, begging him to remove them, to which he ignored me and said, why should I? And didn't touch them until I got a Destiny mod to ask. Some people in her personal life received messages as a result. She says, it's unfair that I have been painted as a crazy abuser this entire time when no one has heard a peep from me and I've done nothing the whole time. I was emotional to someone that I trusted in private, and his response was to sexually harass me. Now he takes advantage of my vulnerability still by pointing to that as proof that I am insane and that what I said about what he did to me is false. He has spent far more time talking about how I have wronged him by reporting his behavior to justify his actions than I have ever spent even thinking about him.
Here's some more context that isn't covered by these videos. Poppy claims that Vosh went after Pastel when they just turned 18. He posted multiple messages about being aroused by girls with small hands to Poppy. He asked Poppy about a sex worker in Japan, and he also fantasized about stretching out Japanese girls. He smeared her on multiple different platforms and claimed he never made a joke about beating women.
I love raping women. I love to kidnap women. I love beating women to death. I love all these things. My life has no meaning outside of like beating, kidnapping, and raping women. That's literally like 100% my shit, you know?
He claimed that Poppy blocked him before he could contact her, but it was later revealed to be the other way around. Now keep in mind, there is still a ton of other stuff he has done, and I don't have time to cover it all, or we will be here all day, such as him requesting an active participant in bestiality, or saying that owning CP is morally neutral.
They said, forgive me if I heard him wrong. Did he say earlier that he thinks it's ethical to own child porn?
No, it's just morally neutral. It's not ethical and it's not unethical. It's no different than owning a computer or a phone, which were also produced unethically.
I've heard Destiny's arguments about this, and I can kind of a little bit understand at least computer-generated child porn, giving that to pedophiles so they don't actually go out and commit real crimes. And I don't know if there's any evidence that suggests that that's true or not, but I'm open to that possibility if it helps society. But
yeah, that's because that was the thing that got caught up. This is the thing that a lot of people do. It's called moral dumbfounding. They believe something like really deeply in their heart. Like, for instance, owning child porn is bad. And the process of creating child porn is monstrous. Of course, the rape and abuse of children. I would never, ever argue against that. Those people should be dealt with to the furthest extent of the law. But if you believe that owning child pornography, as in just having purchased it, not producing it yourself, is unethical and these people should be sent to jail, I don't know why it's any different if you own a phone that was made by slaves. I mean, that probably caused even more harm in the world, if anything. At the end of the day, no ethical consumption under capitalism. I would want to destroy the system, to destroy the abuse of children, to destroy slavery and abuse elsewhere in the world. That would be my aim.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I oppose buying child pornography because I think you are rewarding the people that are producing the child pornography, and that helps abuse children, and you shouldn't do that. But I know what you're saying.
Like when you buy phones, you reward the corporations that export their production to slave farms. Well, you know perfectly well what I mean.
I'm better than you, Vosh. I'm so much more moral than you are.
You
bask in my virtue.
Yeah.
Do you have any position on the ethical consumption of porn? There's no ethical consumption of anything under capitalism. I don't give a fuck. God, I've made the argument that it's not unethical to possess child pornography. I'm never going to come down on somebody for what kind of porn they get off to. Now, what kind of porn they pay for, that you could have some arguments made for. And what kind of porn is produced, well, that becomes a whole discussion. But in terms of consumption, I can't make those arguments. Or at least I would make arguments that none of it is unethical.
Now, I will say this, sort of as an addendum, with regards to the CP stuff specifically. I do think that a lot of people who talk about like the punishments for child pornography are more interested in like pig-headed like machismo American punitive justice than they are in actually, you know, keeping kids from getting raped. Because every psychiatric article that I have ever read on the subject says that we should probably lean way back on the prison punishments for the possession of child pornography and on people who think they might have pedophilic tendencies, because hitting them with that threat makes it less likely that they'll seek out help and counseling and therapy, which are much more likely to keep them from offending. So I think a lot of people get up in their head about this. I personally am more concerned with like preventing kids from getting abused than I am with like the big-headed like justice thing. But that's just my frustration, because I think a lot of people tackle this issue with like their dicks instead of with their heads, you know. How do you feel about the take Destiny has about the CP idea if it causes pedos to stop offending? Oh, Destiny is objectively right there, given the premises provided. If providing already used child pornography ethically to offending child rapists would decrease the likelihood of them offending more in the future, then that is an objectively good thing to do, because you're not creating any more child pornography and you're preventing future child rape. If you say that the conclusion is false given the same premises, what you are essentially saying is that you would rather more children get raped than child predators be able to consume already existing child porn.
Oh, I banned after he left? Okay, I don't really care. Listen, I'm a creature of the moment. I had the debate and I had a good time. It's done now, and now we're watching Louder with Crowder.
Idea being, it's okay for him to want to bang kids as long as he doesn't actually bang kids. And of course, he never would. Wink, wink. Except Nickerson posts he would have sex with kids if we just lived in a more sex-positive society.
Always maintained if we lived in a different, more sex-positive society, and if it were legal to do so, I would engage in sex play with a child if she wanted it, and I initiated it. I will never deny that. Okay. So it seems to me like the op-ed interview, sort of life piece they did on this guy, left is well on its way to doing just that. Okay. I still don't see how this invalidates this still has literally nothing to do with the left promoting pedophilia. It was just them giving a voice and taking a look into the life of a pedophile who does not offend, or allegedly doesn't offend, I suppose. So again, this has nothing to do with his point principally. And it should be said, and I'm not getting into this right now, that from an anthropological standpoint, we have to recognize that the age of consent at which it is presently set is a social construct. Obviously, it's a social construct. It's a law. It's not found in nature. And there have been different societies with different interpretations as to what constitutes sexual maturity. I, at this moment, here in this society, am pretty comfortable with the age of consent being where it is. I wouldn't advocate for it being changed in any way. But the this knee-jerk, and I'm talking to leftists right now, to any leftists listening, this knee-jerk disavowal of any alternative looks at what constitutes sexual maturity is founded primarily in disgust and not in reason. God, fucking kill me, excuse me. So, all I'm saying is, this has nothing to do with leftism, this has nothing to do with sexualizing kids. Get it out of here.
I will leave everything else in a Google document in the description, but for one last thing, let's look at the context for Vosh's Newsbeat comments.
1984 is literally my favorite.
Okay. Oh my god, this is... Oh my god, I can't listen to my voice from a million years ago. Why are we watching this?
So it's a really, really good point, because the way that they alter the minds of the people in
It's through Newspeak.
Yeah, is it Europia or Utopia? What do they call it? Neuropia?
They call it Oceana.
Oceana. Oh, fuck me. Sorry. So the way that one of their leading ways of changing the minds
That's
of
not Destiny's voice. It's somebody else on there.
people in Oceana isn't by indoctrinating them.
Wait, it is Destiny's voice. Oh my god. We both sound like little infant children babies. Sorry, the video artifacting is so bad I couldn't see his mouth moving.
But by depriving them of the words to express any thought that's counterproductive to what the party wants them to think.
Are we talking about SRS here? Shit Reddit Says? I think this is the Shit Reddit Says conversation.
You know?
Exactly.
So,
it's a beautiful book.
But that's not beautiful. Like, that's fucked up. You're essentially saying that people are too stupid and too immature and blah, 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 blah. So what we need to do is we need to dictate to them by giving them no other choice but to think certain things based on, like, the vocabulary and what?
I think the context of this conversation is... Oh, fuck. Shit Reddit Says was a liberal feminist subreddit that was very prominent back a couple of years ago, like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. I don't actually remember how old it is. But anyway, Shit Reddit Says made... Was this about racism and whether or not... Was this an argument on the difference between racism versus populism and racism versus systemic racism? Or racism versus prejudice versus racism and systemic racism? There was some kind of linguistic problem that we were arguing over.
That's politics, and you agree with me.
No, whoa. It's not, but it's kind of along the same ideas to where, like, well, we're just going to kind of get people to think what we want to think by just making all of the words mean this. Like, it's kind of the same thing. It's not the exact same thing, but it's kind of the same, along the same lines.
The difference...
So I think the argument here that I'm making is that Shit Reddit Says... Shit Reddit Says used terminology that was more like woke. And I was defending it, and Steven was attacking it. And Steven was attacking it because he was saying that it's kind of 1984-esque to try to control people's thoughts with the language we use. And I don't remember the arguments I made against it then, because this was like, yeah, I think I was actually a minor at this point. I don't even think I was an adult, but I know the arguments that I would make now. And the arguments that I would make now would be that changing people's political framework through the use of language is a natural component of literally all political organization. Look at what we do with trans women. The term woman is an arbitrary category that we're making an effort to include trans women within, because by doing so, people implicitly adopt the assumptions that trans people want made about themselves. Likewise, when we construct any category, all of these categories that we construct are being done in part because we think it serves greater social utility. And to that effect, it does affect people's thinking. Does that make sense? So that would be my response now.
The difference is that we're doing what we're doing because we genuinely believe that there is a large group of people out there who are suffering because we haven't done this fast enough. Okay? That's why we do it. Now, I understand.
Okay. That voice, man. Yeah, well, obviously back then my arguments would have been a lot worse, but I don't think fundamentally there's anything wrong with my perspective there. The perspective, yeah, this was my pre-T. This was pre-transition, okay? Don't shame me. I think back there the argument that I was making was fundamentally valid, where the linguistic shift in perspective is something being done because it helps people, because people are being harmed through it not being done. Does that make sense? Does anyone here disagree with the fundamental logic being employed there? There are, of course, ways to do this to affect harm, but that's the case with basically any political tool. It's just sort of a way of getting people. Yeah, here we go. Citing from this conversation, me and Steven, back in the day. All right, let's finish this fascism section, as fun as it's been.
Understand that from an objective standpoint, this might sound like...
Why am I so nasally? I can't do this, man. I'm gonna fucking... I'm gonna Roblox myself. I sound like fucking Shapiro, but slower.
Fucking dictatorial language 101, but what do you have to fear from us? But I've shifted a fair...
I think this is a pretty weak fascism uses newspeak. Right here, it says this right here in the title. Newspeak makes use of an impoverished vocabulary and an elementary syntax in order to limit the instruments for complex and critical thinking. That is not at all what I was advocating for. I was advocating for different terminology, I think, but not for destroying words and limiting syntax to reduce people's capacity for thought. Again, this is a really, really weak get. Yeah, there's no connection here. Like, is it new? Like, this is like conservatives saying it's new speak when lefties call trans women women. They actually say that, by the way.
So now it's time to answer the title of this video. Did Chicken Little predict internet culture? Well, we can see that just like in the movie Chicken Little, the popular are advantaged over the unpopular. It is easy to manipulate the angry mob using lack of perspective or context, a disconnection from other people, and people's lives are ruined in a similar fashion to Chicken Little. While you're free to come to your own conclusion, the evidence here seems to point to the answer being yes. Now, I'm not usually the type who asks for anything at the end of videos, but I would like you to share this video as much as possible. Share it with friends. Share it on social media. Hell, just do anything that can get this video more reach, because I want the message of this video to be spread far and wide. I'm glad you watched until the end, and I hope that the internet is just a little less hostile after I publish this video. This video is sponsored by